Okay. Um, so today I'm back with another video. The title is probably going to speak for itself, but I will be doing an album review for Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, with Bully. Um, so just before we go into Bully, I just wanted to talk about just everything leading up to Bully. I understand that there's a lot of controversy surrounding Kanye. And I think that definitely, I feel like as a black man, it definitely affected how I listen to the music. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Um, you know, it's definitely, uh, it's definitely something that you gotta be cognizant of because of, the world today. I think obviously, I have a responsibility to, similar to my basketball podcast, like the Game Pod, just try to educate people through music. Try to lead with integrity. Most importantly, so I definitely want to acknowledge that I'm fully aware of everything that's going on with Ye and a lot of those controversies. And I don't agree with a lot of the things that he stands for. I'm gonna be so for real. Honestly, that's why you see a lot of the public backlash. You know, not only in the United States but also just worldwide. Uh, I think that before we get into the music, definitely just you have to use this as an example of how to responsibly use your platform, because you see that Bully is, I think, in my opinion, one of the better uh, gay albums as of recent, where it feels like he's more in a direction, but just because of everything surrounding Ye, a lot of it kind of just drowns out. You know what I'm saying? So that's just a little bit Kanye. Obviously, he was one of my favorite artists growing up. Um, you know, I grew up literally listening to the Graduation trilogy. Literally, 808s and Heartbreak changed my life. I'm not even gonna lie. Literally, on some Lil Uzi type vibe. I remember I was a huge I played 2K religiously, bro. I still do. Only the old games though. I don't like the new 2Ks. But one of the songs, I forget which 2K it was, but Amazing by Kanye West featuring Jeezy. That was one of the main songs that I remember was on one of the 2K games, and I loved that song so much. And so when I listened to the full album, I was obviously just really inspired. And that's only the tip of the iceberg with Kanye. So yeah, definitely I respect Ye's artistry. A lot of I love a lot of Ye's former work. So yeah, we'll just get into basically right now with Bully, kind of what I like, dislike, my final score, and the conclusion basically. What I like, I feel with Bully, Ye is really trying to rap more throughout this album, and I really appreciate that because we haven't gotten that type of Ye in a long time. If I'm being so for real, Donda didn't really feel like Ye rapping. I felt like there were stints of it on The Life of Pablo. Yeezus was a little low key. It's been a minute since Ye has really rapped. Low key since My Beautiful, and I know I'm missing something, but it's been a minute since we've had a huge Kanye rap album. So that's something I really like about Bully. I like that Kanye really tried to tap into his roots, and really try to show people that he still has it at 40. This project really reminds me a lot of old Ye, because he and I say old Ye '04 to 2020, because he really mashed up a lot of his different sounds throughout his decades, and I think that is it equals a good listening experience because these sounds are very familiar, and it's okay, Kanye's kind of blending these two sounds together, you know what I mean? And so that was something that I really took away from the album, in terms of a positive perspective. I like the sound selection. It really reminded me of Yeezus and 808s. 808s, again, like I said, was one of my favorite Kanye albums. I also really loved Yeezus because of its industrial influence. So yeah, like it like again, it really feels like a Ye album. And I think I like how this album kind of has like a calm tone throughout the project. And I also think that even though it is very calm, like, and it's the first Ye album where it feels very calm. Also, if you hear my dog, that's my dog. You know, she's very vocal, so I'm sorry. Um, but yeah, like, I think Ye uh, definitely tried to have like a calm tone throughout this album, and I think he really met the. Oh my God, my dog, bro. I think Ye really tries to go back to like what, like kind of like again old Ye, '04 to 2020, like you could really tell he was trying to make an album that matched that vibe rather than like this like Vultures era Ye. Like I don't think it's been as successful as he thinks. So I'm glad that he's trying to go back to that older sound. With the likes, you know, obviously I have to talk about my dislikes. You know, I'm a journalist. I have to be very broad, very honest. Um, in my opinion, I feel like Bully still feels unfinished, and that's what really frustrates me about this album because I don't really like how Ye, like the way that my cousin kind of puts it is like Ye is kind of like in his Michael Jordan Wizards jersey era, right? And I think he still thinks he's Bulls jersey Michael Jordan, but the problem is that he's not. So it's like I don't like when Ye like is like trying to be braggadocious and trying to say like, oh, my album's gonna be the best, and then you know he starts hating on other people, and then Bully is unfinished, and it doesn't sound like purpose driven, that like his old previous work. I feel like um there's some that's like really missing with this project that I feel like old Ye projects have. Um, Something that old Ye projects have in common for me is that they really make me feel something. You know, I feel like the graduation trilogy kind of gives you like an aspirational feeling. You know, 808s gives you a sad feeling. Yeezus kind of gives you like a confused feeling. Honestly, I don't think that's a bad thing. And you know, you can go onward, but like I feel like with Bully, it doesn't give me like a feeling. It just kind of like I feel like it's again to try to establish that I'm still here, I guess. And I think that's kind of why I feel like Bully didn't necessarily connect with me as much as maybe others. I think Kanye really tried to fit in too much, like with his old sound, and I think what made me kind of dislike Bully at times was that he was using like familiar samples. I know like a lot of people talk about like these samples are too familiar, but even for like for Kanye standards, I know we could choose better samples than that. And it was kind of frustrating because you see these type of samples being sampled by like you know like underground guys or guys who are trying to get placements. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like Ye, knowing Ye's discography, like Ye's the type of dude that will somehow find a record flip sample from like like 1920. You know what I'm saying? And it'll be like Romanian. You know, like some random thing, and we'll turn it into like a masterpiece. You know, I don't want to hear like TikTok sounds. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of these samples were like TikTok sample driven type samples. I don't know. You and y'all in the comments, y'all can agree, disagree. That's just kind of like where I was feeling where these samples were coming from and why I didn't like it as much. And yeah, I think through that he was trying to appeal a little bit too much to the wider audience. Obviously, like since Ye's situation was so crazy, like he kind of had to do it, but I think it just didn't really work out in a way that I would have enjoyed it as a fan, I guess. So yeah, those are little things that I disliked. My favorite songs off the album, like honorable mention, I'm gonna go with Preacher Man. I love how Kanye is really rapping on like this drumless beat. It's really soulful and suspenseful. Again, it gives you like this old Kanye feeling, while also introducing like a new form of Ye. And you know, I think if he had like a feature or something like this, like a West Side Gun feature, you know what I'm saying, it could have made it like an S tier song. So I know there's a deluxe coming. Maybe like I know West Side did something. I forget which song it was, but like maybe he's on it, maybe he's not. I don't know. But yeah. At 3, my third favorite song is "Father" by Travis Scott, or "Father" featuring Travis Scott. Excuse me. I really like how Ye and Travis are rapping back and forth. Reminds me of like how like "Piss on Your Grave" by Travis, like him and Ye were kind of doing that again. Um, Travis, it felt low key like he kind of outperformed Ye on this in terms of his rapping performance, and I've been really critical of Travis. Not as of recent, but like I think he didn't try to rap until like fairly recently. I'm like literally like Jack Boys 2 type time. Like that, like I feel like now he's really trying to show people that his pen is better, and I appreciate that a lot. And I also like how this song is it sounds like it's inspired by Yeezus. So the second song that I have, my second favorite song off Bully, is called "Whatever Works." It's a great example of how Ye sounds like his older self. I think there's a lot you can enjoy from this rap performance as well, and he uses a lot of bars. And you know, I like when Ye uses bars because like a lot of people try to point that as one of his flaws, and with Bully, he's really trying to show that again, like he's not washed per se, but he still got it. You know what I'm saying? And I also like how it reminds me of like a Ye feeling in a vibe, and it's like kind of like having fun. So like I really like when Ye feels like he's like having fun. I feel like that's when he's his best, or when he's at his best. Excuse me. And my favorite song off Bully, I think it's kind of like general, because I think that this song is liked by a lot of people. It's "Beauty and the Beast." It's very suspenseful, very cinematic to me. It's like one of those moments when you've seen like old Kanye, but at his like peak form, and yeah, like he just feels like, I feel like this is like one of his best melodic performances in a long time, like since Donda, and yeah, like I feel like the sampling is amazing. Like that's where I feel like Kanye's sampling was in his bag. You know what I'm saying? Um, so yeah, I just really like that a lot. Um, and yeah, man, that song specifically brings a lot of emotion to me because like that's the Kanye that I know. You know what I'm saying? Like Kanye, where he's really in his bag, trying to like create. And so yeah, with the conclusion, like that being said, I'm not gonna lie, I'm giving this album a 5 for its final score. Um, I think Ye said so much, like I said earlier, since Donda, that like it's really affected how I digested his music. Um, you know, when you listen to old Ye, like it feels like a completely different artist, like morally. Um, and it also like I feel like with this current version of Ye, like he doesn't have a collective vision like he used to have. And I think Ye really needs to sit down, kind of like how he did with this album, but I think he needs to really take like 2 or 3 years to really sit down and craft an album, because I think Ye is at his best when he world builds. Kind of like similarly to Donda. Like Donda, I wouldn't say is his best album, but if we're gonna get anything to where old Kanye was at like a really good point, I think Donda is the best example of it. Because Donda, even though I feel like not every song was accepted the same way, like they all kind of like they all contributed to this bigger idea of what Donda kind of was as like a cultural moment. You know what I mean? Or not siphon. If Ye can really lock in and just use just a large portion of time to do that similar type of energy, but just as of now at a smaller scale, and then he might be able to go into like, you know, domes and all that. Like I feel like that would really help to like a really good Kanye album, like forever, like 2026 onward. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, please let me know what you think about this latest Kanye album. I've seen a lot of different opinions on it. I think as of now, like I haven't really like gone back to listen to the full album other than the songs that I've liked, and I think again like that's why to me I ranked it as the way it was. So yeah, just let me know what you think. There's gonna be more coming. I have a lot of interesting ideas, and I'm excited to really share with y'all. So Y'all keep going. Y'all rocking. Like, subscribe, hype. Yeah, let's keep growing. Let's keep grinding.